Be me. 34-year-old sociology professor. Tenure track at a mid-tier university in Portland. Spent my entire 20s building my career. Wrote my dissertation on gendered labor dynamics. Published 2 books. One on patriarchal structures in corporate America. One on female empowerment in modern dating. Both did pretty well in academic circles. Married my college sweetheart at 23. Divorced at 27. He wanted kids too soon. I had a career to build. No regrets, obviously. Men always want to tie women down, trap us in domesticity before we can reach our potential. Dated around in my early 30s. Nothing serious. I had standards, high standards. The men my age were either married already, or obvious losers who couldn't attract anyone in their 20s. The younger guys just wanted hookups. Gross. My friends were getting worried. You should try the apps. Violet. Lowercase v, obviously. My parents changed the spelling when I came out as non-binary in college. Sorry, that's not relevant. Changed it back to Violet at 31 when I realized that was cringe. Also not relevant. Point is, I finally got on Hinge. Curated my profile carefully. Showed my intellectual side, my travels, my activism, matched with a guy named Marcus. 36, architect, seemed educated, good-looking in that rugged outdoorsy way. We texted for a week before meeting. First date was at this wine bar downtown. Marcus was charming. Asked about my work. Actually seemed interested. Most men zone out when I talk about feminist theory. He listened, asked questions, even pushed back a little on some points, in a respectful way. I was intrigued. Usually men either agree with everything I say, or get defensive and hostile. Marcus did neither. We went on more dates, coffee shops, hiking trails, a museum once. He was consistent. Texted good morning every day. Remembered things I mentioned weeks ago. Planned dates around my schedule, which was crazy busy. After 2 months, I invited him to meet my friends. Brunch at this place in the Pearl District. My girls Luna and Sage and Petra. We ordered mimosas. Marcus got a black coffee. No judgment, but interesting choice. Conversation flowed. Marcus held his own. Luna asked what he thought about the wage gap. Here we go, I thought. Marcus said something about how the raw numbers don't account for career choices, but that workplace discrimination definitely still exists, especially in leadership pipelines. Sage looked impressed. He mentioned his firm had implemented blind resume reviews and flexible parental leave for both genders. Petra nodded approvingly. I felt proud. After brunch, Luna pulled me aside. He's great, Violet. Like, actually great. Hold on to this one. I plan to. Things were going well. Really well. Maybe too well. 3 months in, Marcus brought up something. We were at his apartment. Nice place. Minimal but tasteful. Violet, I want to talk about where this is going. My guard went up immediately. Okay, I really like you. I can see a future here, but I need to know you're open to certain things. Like what? Like eventually settling down. Maybe kids someday. Building a life together. Not right now, but eventually. I felt the familiar tightness in my chest, the same pressure I felt with my ex, the expectation that I would bend my life around his timeline. Marcus, I just got tenure track. I have at least 5 years before I'm secure. I can't be thinking about kids right now. He nodded. I understand that. I'm not saying now. I'm saying eventually. Do you see that in your future at all? I thought about it. Really thought about it. Did I want kids? Honestly, I had never let myself think that far ahead. My career came first. Always. Kids were something other women did. Women who weren't as ambitious. I told Marcus I needed time to think. He said, of course. kissed my forehead, made us dinner. We watched a documentary about climate change. But the question lingered. Did I want kids? Did I want a family? Was Marcus asking me to give up everything I worked for? I called Luna the next day, told her about the conversation. She sighed. Violet, he's not asking you to quit your job. He's asking if you see a future with him. Those are two different things. But wanting kids eventually means sacrificing my career. Does it, though? Plenty of women have both. Not really, I said. Someone always has to compromise, and it's usually the woman. Luna was quiet. Then she said something that stuck with me. Maybe compromise isn't the same as losing. I didn't know what to do with that. So I ignored it. Weeks passed. Marcus didn't bring up the conversation again. He was patient, supportive, kept showing up. I started to resent it a little. His consistency felt like pressure, like he was waiting for me to change my mind, to give in. One night, we were at dinner. I had been distant all week. Marcus noticed. What's going on with you? Nothing. Violet, come on. I can tell something's wrong. I put my fork down. I just feel like you're waiting for me to become someone I'm not. What do you mean? You want this whole traditional thing? Wife and kids and probably a house in the suburbs. That's not who I am, Marcus. I didn't ask you to be anyone. But you asked about kids. I asked if you wanted them someday, not if you'd have them next month. There's a difference. I felt myself getting defensive. It's not that simple. Wanting kids means wanting a certain kind of life. A life that centers family over career. Marcus looked at me for a long moment. Is that what you really think? Yes. Every study shows that mothers' career trajectories suffer. Studies also show that partnerships work differently, depending on the partners. You're assuming he'll expect you to sacrifice everything. I never said that. But it's what happens. My mother gave up her dreams for my father. I watched it happen. I won't let that be me. Marcus was quiet. Then he said something unexpected. What were her dreams? What? Your mother's dreams. What did she give up? I blinked. She wanted to be a lawyer, but she got pregnant with my brother at 22, and then me at 25, and then it was too late. Did she ever try to go back? By the time we were in school, she was too old. Too old at what, 35 or 40? People go to law school at 50, Violet. It's different when you have kids. The expectation is that you stay home, that you put them first, even if you have other ambitions. Whose expectation? Society. Your dad. Did he tell her she couldn't go back to school? I thought about it. I actually thought about it. Had my dad ever said that? Or had my mom just assumed? I don't know. Maybe you should ask her. I changed the subject, but I couldn't stop thinking about it. That night I called my mom. Hey, honey, what's going on? Mom, can I ask you something? Of course. Did Dad ever tell you not to go to law school? Silence. Where is this coming from? Just something someone said. Did he? More silence. No, Violet. He didn't. He actually offered to pay for it. When you and your brother were in middle school, he said he would support the family while I went back. I felt something shift in my chest. So why didn't you? My mom sighed. Honestly, I was scared. It had been so long since I'd been in school. And I told myself it was too late, that I was too old, that the window had closed. But Dad said he would help. He did. I just couldn't accept it. I had built this story in my head, that I had sacrificed everything, that he had taken my dreams from me. She paused. But the truth is, I gave them up myself. I used him as an excuse, because it was easier than admitting I was afraid. I didn't know what to say. Mom, It's okay, honey. It's taken me a long time to see it clearly. But your father never held me back. I held myself back. We talked for another hour. About her regrets, about her fears, about the story she told herself for 30 years. When I hung up, I sat in the dark for a long time, thinking about Marcus, about the story I was telling myself, about the future I was so afraid of. The next week was hard. I was distracted at work, couldn't focus on my lectures. My research felt hollow. I kept thinking about my book, the one on female empowerment in dating. All those pages about how women should never compromise, never settle, never bend. But was that empowerment? Or was it just fear dressed up in academic language? I went to therapy, first time in years. Told my therapist about Marcus, about my ex, about my mom. My therapist asked me something. What are you afraid of losing, Violet? My career, my independence, myself. And what does that look like specifically? Working less, having to share my time, not being able to just do whatever I want. She nodded. Those are real concerns. But let me ask you this. What would you gain? I didn't have an answer. I had spent so long focusing on what I would lose that I never thought about what I could gain. Partnership, family, someone to share life with, growing old with someone who loved me. I thought about my colleagues, the older ones, the ones who had climbed to the top. Professor Whitman, 3-time published, department chair at 45, divorced twice, no kids, ate lunch alone every day. Professor Huang, brilliant researcher, world-renowned in her field, never married, spent holidays in her office. Was that what I wanted? To be so protected from loss that I ended up with nothing to lose. I called Marcus that night. Can I come over? Of course. When I got there, he looked concerned. I had been weird for weeks. He probably thought I was ending things. I kind of was. But not the way he expected. Marcus, I need to say something. Okay. I sat down on his couch, took a breath. I have been treating you like you're trying to trap me. Like wanting a future together means taking something from me. He listened. But you haven't asked me to give up anything. You asked if I saw kids in my future. And I acted like you were trying to steal my career. That's on me. Marcus took my hand. Where is this coming from? I talked to my mom and my therapist, and I realized something. I have been so afraid of becoming my mother that I made up a story about what happened to her. What do you mean? I thought my dad took her dreams from her. But he didn't. She gave them up because she was scared and blamed him instead of facing that fear. I looked at him. I don't want to do that to you. To us. Violet, I don't know if I want kids. Honestly, I still don't know, but I want to figure it out with you, not despite you. Marcus pulled me into a hug. That's all I ever asked for. We stayed like that for a while. Then he made us tea. We talked until 2 a.m. about fears, about futures, about what we actually wanted, not what we thought we were supposed to want or supposed to reject, but what we actually wanted. It was the most honest conversation I'd had in years, maybe ever. It felt terrifying and freeing at the same time. 6 months later, Marcus proposed, not in some big public way, just in his apartment, where we'd had that first real conversation. He got down on one knee and asked if I'd build something with him. Not for him. With him. I said yes, cried a lot, called my mom. She cried too. The wedding was small, immediate family, a few friends. Luna was my maid of honor. My dad walked me down the aisle. I looked at him differently now. Not as the man who stole my mother's dreams, but as the man who offered to help her chase them. At the reception, my mom pulled me aside. I'm proud of you, Violet. For what? For being braver than I was. For not letting fear write your story. For choosing love even when it felt risky. I hugged her, harder than I had in years. That was 2 years ago. Now I'm 36, still a professor, still publishing, still ambitious, also pregnant. Found out last month, terrified and excited and overwhelmed. Marcus has already arranged to take paternity leave. 3 months. His firm is supportive. He wants to be present. We talked about everything. Who would do night feedings? How we would handle childcare. What it meant for both our careers. Not assumptions, conversations, actual plans. My mom came to visit last week. We went to lunch. She told me she enrolled in an online paralegal program at 58 years old. It's not law school, she said, but it's something. It's a start. I almost cried into my salad. Mom, that's amazing. She smiled. You're never too old to stop being afraid. I thought about my old self, the one who wrote books about never compromising, about protecting independence at all costs, about viewing partnership as inherently oppressive. I still believe women deserve equality, still fight for it in my work, still teach my students to demand respect. But I understand something now that I didn't before. Independence isn't the same as isolation. Strength isn't the same as refusing help. And love, real love, the kind that challenges you and supports you, that asks hard questions and waits for real answers. That love doesn't take anything from you. It adds. It multiplies. It builds something bigger than either person alone. I was so afraid of losing myself in partnership that I almost lost the chance to find myself through it. Marcus comes home as I finish writing this, kisses my forehead, asks about my day, tells me about his. Just normal stuff. Married stuff. The kind of thing I used to think was settling. Turns out, settling isn't staying with someone who loves you. Settling is staying alone because you're too scared to try. Settling is choosing fear over love and calling it empowerment. I know not everyone will understand. Some of my old friends don't. Sage stopped talking to me after I got engaged, said I had internalized the patriarchy. Maybe she is right, or maybe she is as scared as I used to be. Either way, it's not my job to convince her, just to live my own life. And I'm living it. Really living it, for the first time. Not performing independence. Actually being free. Free enough to choose connection. Free enough to be vulnerable. Free enough to admit I was wrong. My daughter is due in 4 months. We are naming her after my grandmother, Rose. I hope she grows up to be ambitious and brave and independent and loved and loving. I hope she knows that strength means being soft sometimes, that power means sharing it, that freedom means choosing your commitments, not avoiding them. But mostly, I hope she knows that she doesn't have to figure it out alone, that asking for help isn't weakness, that partnership isn't a trap. It took me 34 years to learn that. Maybe she will learn it sooner. Maybe this story will help. Or maybe she will have to make her own mistakes. Like I did. Like my mom did. That's okay too. That's what family is for. To catch you when you fall. And love you anyway. Marcus is calling me for dinner. He made pasta. My favorite. I should go. This is enough for now. More than enough. I used to think I wanted freedom. Turns out I just wanted to not be afraid. And now I am not. Not of love. Not of partnership. Not of the future. Not even of being wrong. Just grateful. For the life I almost talked myself out of. For the man who waited while I figured it out. For the daughter I get to raise differently. The end. Or really, the beginning.